You have given very good remarks on the place of culture in national development. If you could just tell us briefly why you think that we need to focus on culture, and especially with regard to Maasai culture, when we're doing work, in this area for economic as well as social development. Why do you think this is important? Why do you think culture is important for us all?
First of all, from the definition that culture is life, every individual in this world is born into culture. And everything that goes on around an individual is actually determined by culture. The Maasai community, in the space they occupy in Africa, knowing that Maasai people are found in Kenya and Tanzania, the artifacts, every item that belongs to the Maasai culture is very, very important to them. Not just because they are items, but because every item has got spiritual explanation of its existence and its importance. And therefore, the lives of the Maasai and the artifacts from the Maasai culture are one and the same thing. They cannot be separated. Last year, through NPI, we were able to document indigenous knowledge of the Maasai people. This was done in conjunction with the county government of Narok, and it was actually the beginning, so that in the second step, it will now be the commercialization of the cultural items and practices of the Maasai culture. And therefore, culture can be an economic activity of the people who own the same culture.
There are certain museums in Europe which are saying that these artifacts can be returned to the community on loan, not on a permanent basis, that they can be loaned back to the community for us a period of time through an agreement. Is that the right position to take?
It's outrageous. They never took it on loan. First of all, it should not be lost on anyone that these items that were taken from the Maasai people, they were not just found in the bush. First of all, for the artifacts that are worn by individuals, it has some connotations, and we understand these, that somebody must have died for that artifact to be taken to Europe. And therefore, it's not a small issue. It's not a small issue, it's a legal issue that the Maasai people require reparation for this.
Now, the other argument that they are advancing is that the young people, the young Maasai, do not care about their culture. And therefore, if these things are brought back, the young people will not take care of them. Is that something that we should be concerned about?
The statement is unfortunate in the fact that culture, naturally, is handed down from one generation to another. And when they want to cut this generation from their culture, it's something very serious. They are outrageous, and they should be made to pay for the statements they are making. The people, the young generation that is existing right now, own the culture. They are the current owners. They are the current owners of this culture. Because we cannot give the culture to those of the oldies, of the olden times. They belong to the current generation. Yes.
Now there is a certain consciousness within the county and as well as nationally and within the continent of Africa that restitution is urgent and needs to be done quickly. What can the Narok County government do to help move these things forward now that we have an environment that allows us to do this?
First of all, even before I answer that question, what we are doing as a county government is that in the documentation and the collection of artifacts, currently, we are using the younger generation. We are only using the older generation being the owners of the indigenous knowledge, but the people who are collecting it are the younger generation, because so that they own and they should be able to hand over to the coming generation. Then where we are right now, the younger generation should actually own and make money out of these artifacts. Then when it comes to the role that the county government can do in support of organizations that are going for this reparation, we can offer legal services as a county government. and we can offer international engagements because we are a government. And when we are working with the national government, we can speak to the national government on behalf of those organizations that will finally talk to the international relation level so that these artifacts can be repatriated.